Here's what it is, huh? Here's what it is. Well, I just reviewed this cigar. I'm almost getting into the last third here. Um, just a heads up, you'll see in the regular review, not that anyone cares. There was some damage to the cigar, but it was only near the cap. But that does affect a little bit. But that damage was just from traveling. It was the one cigar in the box that had some damage to it. And I'm going to drop the ash because the moment I take this band off, you see the damage by the bottom? It's going to separate and the wrapper is going to come undone. I know it. It is what it is. The cigar was great, though. It was a funky, unique, sour, sweet cigar with an extremely long finish, with an exotic type of character to it. A lot of strange things going on with this cigar. It's not a traditional cigar. It was fantastic, though. It doesn't beat the aging in Nicaragua, though. So I don't just blindly, every time I get a new cigar from a company, oh, it's got to be the best one ever. No, it doesn't work like that. It is phenomenal, though. And I'll leave it at that. I did really enjoy it. I'm going to drop this ash pretty soon. It's a bold, funky cigar. If you like something that's really unique, check it out. That is what it is. And nobody's here. And I don't care. I got watermelon. That's what it is. All right. Mm. I'm going to drop that ash. I don't need to, but I'm going to. That's what it is. Now I can relax. Like I said, the cigar sadly had some damage to it from travel, but that's not the cigar's fault. Very sweet and sour and spicy, funky. I gave it a solid 4.4 rating. A very enjoyable cigar, however, very different. Hey, what's up, Caleb? Hey, Caleb, just a heads up, Caleb. I sent a request yesterday if you wanted to come on the channel, Caleb. But you let me know. You let me know when you want to come on, Caleb, and if you want to introduce yourself to the guys. But, whenever you feel ready. It is what it is. It is what it is. You see, my neighbors are, and they're cutting wood. It is what it is. It is what it is. You got to stay fresh. 2 showers a day. High quality soaps. I can't stress it enough. That is the Richie way. Listen, if you're not fresh, you're not rich. Fresh. Staying fresh. High quality soaps. Washing your balls twice a day is a gift. It's a gift. So do it. Stay fresh. Listen, you eat 3 meals a day. You could take 2 showers a day. Even if they're 5 minute showers, just get fresh. Fresh, good quality soaps. Cover the proper areas and do what you're going to do. Stay fresh. Instead of taking one 10-minute shower a day, try 2 5-minute showers. Don't tell me you don't got the time. Hey, this guy, he came to a stupid place. Congratulations. We fell in love in a stupid place. 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 Stupid Place was filmed in a live audience at Ritchie Studios. Here's what it is. We got a bunch of lurkers tonight, so I'm just gonna end the video because I hate this place. Everybody wants to lurk. Everybody wants to hang out with Richie, and then they want to lurk. They just want to sit there and play with their balls. It is what it is. Gio, I know you're there. PG, I know you're there. Jeremy, I know you're there. Just lurking, lurking. Sacco's lurking. Exactly. Certified. I thought it was certified stupidoids. To get in the show, they're like, all right, what's 2 times 5? They're like, Georgia, you're in. You're in. Come on in. You're the first guest. All right, who was the second president of the United States? Uh, George Bush. Yeah, you got it. You got it. It is what it is. You want to stay fresh. A lot of people just want to lurk. I came to lurk. I came to lurk. I came. I lurked. I conquered. A lot of people are going to lose their wrench tonight. Wrenches will be taken. If I find you lurking, you're losing your wrench. I can't stress it enough. And you could take that to the bank and cash it 3 times. That's a promise. If you got a wrench, you're supposed to be reliable. If you're not reliable, I can't use you anymore. All right? Here's what it is. A lot of people be lurking. Is what it is. Oh, I just came here to see what Richie's going to say. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got to stay fresh. And if you have a beard, use a nice beard soap. And then comb your beard. Be a gentleman, right? That's what it is. Get the fucking crumbs out of your beard. Is what it is. Stay fresh. Stay fresh. Now, I don't know the difference between beard shampoo and head shampoo. I don't know the difference. But I do notice that my beard shampoo has no chemicals in it. It's like orange peel and cucumber and I don't know, whatever other weird natural things they put in there. Stuff that's good for your beard. Vitamin E. I don't know. It is what it is. It is what it is. Mm. It is what it is. Well, I guess I'll just sit here. I don't know why I do this place anymore. It's probably going to be the last episode. The only person I could count on here is probably Sacco. Sacco's very reliable. Sacco's very reliable. Cigar is very pungent. It's very odd. It's a very odd cigar. It's really intriguing, I would say. It offers something that I can't place. The whole thing is very different. You know, I've never heard of it. I don't know how popular it is. It is still being made, although I wouldn't call it like a regular release. Even if it is a regular release, I don't see it a lot. And we have a special guest here tonight. Hey, what's up, Caleb?
Hey,
Hey,
how are you? I
what's
don't
up,
know if
bro?
you can hear the saw next door or not.
Yeah, what are they doing? They making a tree for
I think so.
it? Yeah, man. It looks like you got nice weather. What's up, Jeremy?
Also living in California.
Say again? Oh, we are you back? Are you on the Wi-Fi? Because it's going to use a lot of service.
Oh, am I good now?
Yeah, you're good. It's better. Yeah, better.
Sorry, I walked inside.
Yeah, that's all right, man. How you doing? All right? You got a hell of a beard.
Oh, thank you.
Man, that's fantastic.
Yes.
What a lovely house you have.
Oh, thank you.
How long
Good
you been
thinking.
there?
Thank you. We've been at this house for 7 years.
Wow, that's a long time. That's a long time. That's a long time. What are you smoking?
I was smoking I don't know, it didn't have a band.
Huh.
It was like a farm roll.
Mm. Would you order your stuff online mostly, or?
Most of the time, otherwise I'll go to there's one liquor store that has a really nice humidor. Or there's a actual cigar shop the next city over. You go
Interesting.
in lounge. Yeah.
Well, what state you from, if you don't mind saying?
Oh, California. That's
Oh,
why I
you're.
said the only plus is the weather.
I didn't hear that part. That makes sense why it's still sunny. I should have figured that out. You're on the West Coast,
Yes.
so you're probably not too far from Saint Saco.
I'm in the Bay Area.
Oh, so you're
Saco is in down there by LA.
Malibu.
So
Yeah.
it's about maybe 3 to 3.5 hours down
Oh,
there to LA.
yeah.
Six
That
hours.
that's a pretty bad. Yeah, depending on traffic, I'm sure. Always traffic in California.
Yes.
Yeah. So
So the only plus of living in the Bay Area of California is literally you can eat the world.
yeah,
There
you
is a
like,
restaurant for everything you could possibly think of.
you probably have good Chinese food there, right?
Good Chinese, good Indian, Burmese, Ethiopian, whatever floats your boat.
That sounds good. Yeah, I miss. In New York, they had a pretty good Indian restaurants. I mean, once in a while, I like a good Indian food, but it's got to be a good place, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. So, how long have you been into cigars? What got you into cigars?
I think I'm 3 years.
Oh, not that long.
Uh, I'm also a cigarette smoker on occasion. Uh, I don't know. As you get older, you appreciate the smaller things.
Right. Yeah. Man, you
So
got
it's
nice.
I usually smoke alone uh, and ponder life and sit in the yard.
Oh, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You got a nice property, nice backyard, man. Hey, God bless, brother.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks. How are you this evening?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm fresh. I'm good. I had a nice dinner. I relaxed with the missus. I went to the gym, and then I was reviewing the cigar, and then I just came in like the last third. It was a good cigar, but it was very strange. You know, when you have a cigar, it's very exotic. So it is a good cigar, but very specific. And I think people will either love it or hate it because it's very odd. You know what I'm saying? Though some cigars are more traditional. This is a very unique cigar. So it's like anything else in life. When something's like really different, people are gonna either love or hate it because it's gonna be like, what the hell is this? You know, it's very sour and sweet and lots of fig. So it's like a really like pungent fermented fig note, and it has cedar and black pepper, but it's pretty intense. And the finish though is so long. So either you're gonna love or hate that sweet and sour kind of taste. You know, it can be hit or miss.
Yes. I don't know. Sometimes it's definitely nice to change things up. There's so many out there. As much
Yeah.
as I like to change it up,
Yeah.
uh, You never know what you might find.
No, that's true. What's some of your go-tos? What would you say like your main five cigars are, or do you always change it up, or what's go-to?
I usually change it up. When I started smoking cigars, I went straight to full body cigars.
Okay, so darker, strong cigars. Yep.
So I'm trying to go backwards, which
Yep.
is harder because I started at the top.
Right, right, right. Yeah. But that's okay though. There's still a lot of difference. I would say this: when you go with like lighter shade cigars or something that's super strong, if you go for them in a smaller size though, they get more potent. So if you smoke a lot of Robusto and Coronas of like weaker cigars, they're more interesting. You know, if you go with a big fat 6x60 Connecticut, it get kind of boring. You know.
No, usually I don't. Oh, I buy two of whatever. Uh, because sometimes they're great in the morning with a cup of coffee,
Exactly.
a lighter
Exactly.
shade.
Yeah, they have their place, especially when it comes to like weaker, lighter shade cigars. Like I said, in a smaller size, I feel like I don't know. It's just it hits me right, especially for early morning or if I'm out by the beach or relaxing by the water. If I'm outside, I don't mind a weaker cigar. If I'm walking around like in the woods, I don't mind a nice, like this cigar right here. I'm going to smoke next. This is more on the lighter side, but it's the classic Monte Cristo and Robusto. But have you had this, the classic Monte Cristo?
I have had the classic Monte Cristo.
Yeah, I enjoy that one. You know, it's
I
stronger than.
actually really like the Medio Tempo
Mhm.
Monte Cristo. That's a good one.
Oh yeah, the Media Noche. That's a good one.
Hmm.
The one with the blue, dark blue band with gold.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's actually the first Maduro Monte Cristo made on the non-Cuban side. It's an interesting cigar.
Yes, but I like the classic. I also smoke the Punch Classic a lot. I don't know. I like it.
That's a great cigar, and it's really affordable. It's a really good cigar. I like the classic punch.
It actually really is. It's a nice treat.
You would like the new punch golden era because it's on the lighter side as far as the profile, but it's actually potent and it's strong. Like it's a solid medium full, but it tastes like a bowl of golden grams and black pepper. So it's a lot of honey, like it's like honey and nuts and black pepper. It's really nice profile.
Yes, I gotta go to the shop and see if they have it.
They should because Punch is like a big brand. So the golden era, try it in Robusto or try it in Churchill. Churchill was the skinniest one, even though it's the longest, and that was the best one because it was the most intense because of the smaller gauge.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So yeah,
yeah. Cause the liquor store that has the humidor, it's the same old, same old. I mean, he's got a good selection, but same old.
yeah. Most of the time, a liquor store they don't change up variety. They'll have basics. They'll carry the
No,
basics. That's it.
yeah. So then I'll go to the cigar shop, and they obviously have a huge walk-in humidor and a good rotation.
That's it. Now, would you grow up in California your whole life, or let's go backwards? Like, where were you born?
Yes, I am California born.
Okay. And then after high school, what'd you do? Did you go right to work? Did you go into service? Did you go to college? What'd you do?
I worked for Safeway
Hmm.
for 7 years once I found I was having my first child and had to get a real job.
Right, 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 right.
And then I worked for UPS for 9.5 years and I blew my back out.
Oh shit, that happened.
So,
You're the only one. I heard a lot of people, like in the UPS, FedEx, any kind of delivery job, you can really blow your back out or your knees or whatever.
yeah. So after that, I drove semi trucks cross country for 3 years before the market crashed in 2001.
Wow.
And I came home, and now I work with sheet metal. So
Interesting.
I do all the custom work that all the company I work for. It's all the metal that goes on the roof. You know, the flashings, the
Yeah.
valleys, whatever. But I do the custom because they got a custom roof and whatever. You know, you need
That's a lot of.
specialty.
You got to be really good with mathematics, and you got to be really handy with the tools and everything else for that. That's a good fabrication skill to have, because a lot of people, I would say a lot of people, let's say younger age, don't even know how to work with tools. They don't want, they don't want to, and that's a demanding job. You got to produce when you're working in a factory or something like that.
Oh yes, yes. So I work on the custom side. So otherwise, they're cranking them out the machine at whatever the standard sizes are or whatnot.
So the custom stuff, is that a lot of fabrication by hand though? Because for certain cuts, or you, how does that work?
Yeah. So usually, right, it's 3x5 or whatever. But now you need, 5x5 or 5x7 or whatever because that's what the job requires. So you have to cut it bigger. You have to solder things together, or you're flat out just making random whatever pipe coverings, whirly doos, that are on the roof, that kind of thing. And
So
yeah, it's just non-standard sizes.
when you're doing all that, are you working off schematics, or how are you getting your measurements?
Literally, the client is giving you the dimensions and you build it.
That's pretty cool. Now,
The
when you build,
biggest,
will you build it a little bigger so they have room to play with it? They can. But you don't want to be short. So how does that work when you're building that stuff?
well, the roofers, because I don't work on the roof, I just make the stuff.
Right.
Whenever they're sending their schematics, if they needed more room, they're going to give you dimensions of more room or whatever, and they'll manipulate it once it's up there or whatever.
Right. Because I've done construction a long time in my life, and I'll tell you what, what's on paper than what's in reality sometimes is different. You could have an idea, and then when you get there, actually in the field, things sometimes don't always. You know what I'm saying? No, aren't exactly what the guy. Sometimes the guy measuring fucks up too, and you did your job right and cut it right, but then you get to the job and you're like, oh shit, and that can happen too.
Yes, you're screwed if you're ordering thousands of pieces or whatever.
Yeah.
Custom stuff, like you're taking that risk. Like you can't return. It's what you gave me, and this is what you're getting.
Right. So after you cut the stuff, do you have like someone that validates it, like proof checking to make sure it's to what they wanted? That way, if they quality control it, or who inspects?
Uh, the boss of the boss, I think, whoever's the shipping person, is verifying once again whatever. I'll tell you what it is. He'll tell you verify what it is, It goes through like 3 steps before it
Now
goes
you go
out the door.
different kinds of sheet metal, or galvanized, or stainless steel, or all different kinds of material, or is there only one kind for code?
Uh, there's probably 2 different kinds, and then it depends on the gauge of the steel too.
Right.
You want it double thick or whatever.
What about
Problem
copper
with it,
stuff around chimney?
yes,
Do you use copper? Do you ever use copper?
yes, yes. So
Around-
sometimes they have a copper roof and everything is copper, or the cap is copper, or yeah, so you're soldering all that together and building that.
And that's very expensive. Any kind of copper roofing is going to pay out your ass.
Hmm. The problem with the steel is it's all coming from China and Saudi Arabia, and it's shit. It's like full of, imperfections versus US heat steel like we used to make. Like the shit we have nowadays is garbage.
And that's a big thing, I think, with a lot of materials not being made in America anymore. And you're getting stuff made in foreign. Now, obviously, if you're working with stuff made in Germany or Italy, that wouldn't be a problem, but that'd be expensive. But stuff made out of China, it's not the same. It's not the same quality. And it's not that if they wanted to make something really good in China, they could. But the reason why they're doing the the lowest quality possible to get most profit. Correct?
Yes, but it's the only steel you can get. So the the Bay Bridge, right? You have the Golden Gate Bridge, right, which everybody knows. The Bay Bridge is the other one that goes across the bay.
Mhm.
They tore down the old one and built half that spans again. You know what I mean? The modern. So it has a main mast in the middle because it's a suspension bridge. And we're talking, it's massive. And we're talking thousands and thousands of cars going across it. They sent it to China and an inspector from the US to have this thing built in China, right? So it comes all the way here from China and they go to get ready to put it on or whatever and then it's absolute fucking garbage. Like, I mean, it is not good. That literally, I think they fired up one of the steel plants in Pittsburgh to build the second one.
That so the
They
bridges now with bad Chinese steel.
no, so that one they literally bought another one because they fired up a steel plant in Pittsburgh to build the second one.
There's nothing like American quality steel. Let me tell you something. My favorite guns are made of American steel. I have Smith and Wessons from the '70s, '80s, and '90s. Steel, carbon steel, and stainless steel. It looks like brand new, and I mean, cycles like a boss. I mean, steel is what we're known for. I mean, our cars used to have going back to when I was a kid in the '80s. The pickup trucks had steel. Now everything is fucking plastic.
Yes, and just car accidents and people dying and all that good stuff. I mean, they used to build our cars like tanks.
Tanks. I would say the last era was probably the nine. My mother had a 1999 Tahoe, and I remember it was the last year they made that kind of time. And he was underneath and he said, "Man, they don't make trucks like this no more." I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Everything is fucking steel. Bumper, frame is just built like like you said, like a tank." And now all the new trucks, even the new SUVs, they're basically glorified minivans.
Yes. Yeah, the frames are shit because they're cutting corners, so they're thinner than they used to.
Yeah.
All of that.
They're not this. Doesn't when I see like a brand new Suburban now, wrong. They have some nice high tech stuff to it, and the interiors are nice, but they're not the same. When I was growing up in the '80s and '90s, if somebody pulled up with like a 1975 Suburban, you're like, "Oh shit, that thing pulled up and had a presence." It was like you said, it was a tank. And the old Chevy 350 or the 7.4 liter V8 was fucking massive. And I'm not a Ford guy, but the old Fords I like too. From the old Ford Bronco, my uncle had one, 1993 Eddie Bauer. Those were real fucking trucks. Solid front axle. I mean, a lot of the new SUVs, they have independent rear and front suspension. It's not even a truck anymore.
Yeah, speaking of Eddie Bauer, I mean, look at OJ, how far he went in Eddie Bauer.
Yeah, he put that. He put that truck. He put the truck on the map. So okay, right now, if I said, "Hey, I, you can smoke any cigar you want," what cigar would you smoke? No money an option. What's your favorite cigar that you've had?
That's a good one. The one I keep going back to for some reason, and I wouldn't say it's the best, but I thoroughly enjoy it, is my father
Well,
Flora something Anatitas. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's a great cigar. Do you like that in the regular, like the sun grown, or the Maduro version?
Uh, I usually pick up 50-50, so I'll get 50 natural and 50 Maduro because I enjoy them both.
Right. And I'm telling you this right now. A lot of companies are missing out on this. Somebody needs to make a moon grown cigar. This is what I mean. Every tobacco is grown under the moon. I mean, when the sun goes away in the field, the moon comes out. So somebody should call a cigar moon grown. You could do it, but nobody's used it. I mean, I think it would be kind of a good little name. Like imagine like Ashton Moon Grown or like My Father Moon Grown or you know what I'm saying? No, like I think it'd be pretty cool to say a moon grown wrapper. I mean, obviously the first person to do it, it is true. All tobacco is grown under the moon. They don't put it away at nighttime, you know.
Yeah, but I don't know. Would it grow at night? Doesn't it need the UV?
No, no, I'm not saying what I'm saying. I'm playing with those semantics, with the words here, meaning all
Mhm.
tobacco is grown under the sun, but also at the end of the day, when the sun goes away, the moon's out. I'm just saying nobody capitalized on moon-grown tobacco because every tobacco grows under the sun, and then it relaxes under the moon. I mean, that's all I'm saying, though. You know,
I agree. That I
because I
think
was
you're on to. I think you're on to something. And yes, right. They got every other thing under the sun.
yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Because the marketing is half a cigar. You could have a great cigar if it doesn't have a good name, and I hate to say, a good marketing, a good band, and a good box. People will overlook it. Even if it's good, people will go, "Ah, it looks like shit," or "That's not a cool name." All the great names have great. All the great cigars have great names. Opus X, Padron 1920. We just call it the Padron 26. You know, we can even go with the new ones like the LFD Solaris. You know, there's some cool names. You know, I mean, so sometimes the cigars I think when they make cigars with too many names, you're like, what? You know, if it has like six names, you're like, oh, give me a break. It's just too much, you know?
Oh, I agree. And everybody's, I don't know. It's part of the gimmick, I guess, because
It's the way it is. But anytime you,
they got everything under the sun. You want a ice cream cigar, you want a salt and pepper cigar, you want a
yeah,
I mean they have everything under the sun.
yeah, yeah, that guy's really doing a lot of work. What the hell are they doing that late in the night?
I have no effing clue.
Hmm. Yeah. So you said you had one how old are your kids?
Sorry. What?
Oh, how old are your kids now? They're grown up.
Yes. So like I said at one point, last year I was done with child support.
Right, right.
But my oldest is 24 and my youngest is 22.
Oh wow. Oh, you had to pay till the kid was 21.
One of them, the
Oh
youngest.
wow, wow. You still stay in touch with them, or did they move away?
No, I have a good relationship with them. But yes, they both moved to Oklahoma. My oldest son bought a house in Oklahoma, and so they live in Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's probably a good state to live in. Probably the house prices are probably really affordable.
Oh, anywhere but California, it's more affordable.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. Yeah, I mean California's expensive. It's not cheap, but you got great weather, but it's not cheap. You know, I never been.
No, the sad part is it's more beautiful. It's probably the most beautiful state. Like You can go to the desert, you can go to the mountains, you can go to every environment in the state of California.
Yeah, it's got everything. It's got oceans. It's got beautiful farmland. It's got major cities. I think it still could be redeemable. I just think the politics and the crime they made it get bad because of the policies. You know what I'm saying though? Because when I went to California in 2002, 2003, I lived there. San Diego was beautiful, and I even went to LA. It wasn't bad. But it's amazing how things changed in 20 years.
Oh, yes. So, California, because you talk to somebody from the Midwest or back east or whatever, we walk around with movie stars and surf every day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we've always had a influx of people coming to California. Like,
Yeah, most people from California are not from California. That's what I learned when I lived there.
mhm, because they all believe those things, whatever. Now we have a huge mass exodus. We lose people every fucking day more than ever. Everybody's fuck this, I'm
Yeah,
out.
I believe last year they said I think 1 million people left California. That's massive.
Yes, and I think it's San Antonio or Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So, is it Microsoft and some other big tech company, right? Silicon Valley.
Well, even Tesla. Tesla went to Texas. Tesla has a big factory. They
Yeah.
make.
Yeah. So they're predicting either San Antonio, Texas will be the new Silicon Valley or one of the other giants went to Las
Yeah.
Vegas. So either
You
Las
know
Vegas
what's
or
growing?
San Antonio will be the new Silicon Valley
I
because
believe.
those guys are leaving.
But you know what's going to be a major manufacturing hub, and it is Tennessee. You have Beretta went to Tennessee. Smith and Wesson now is in Tennessee. Those are major companies because what you don't understand when you're a major company like Beretta and Smith and Wesson in Tennessee, you know how many jobs that creates outside of the factory because you have production, you have delivery, you have supplies, even hotels, restaurants. The people when they got to work, they got to go live their life and go shopping and housing and it's a trickle down effect. So when you have major manufacturing move to a state like Tennessee and it's booming, there's a lot of money being dumped in Tennessee. I think has a lot of potential because it was so cheap. If you go back 20 years ago, you could have went to Tennessee and lived there for nothing. So it's Tennessee's booming.
Yes.
Now, when
Yeah.
you drove cross country. You said,
Yes, so for 3 years I drove ocean to ocean. So I've been to 46 states.
wow.
Never made it to Maine or whatever, but 46 states. And
Well, pretty much all
after thir-
you couldn't
yeah,
go.
and then after the 3 years, I said I want to be closer to home, so I just ran the Western seven states.
Okay,
So over the Sierras, over the Rockies, yeah, the
so you
Western 11.
in Colorado, how dangerous is it driving off I-70 and the I Gauntlet? It's dangerous, right? Going to the mountains, you got to really know you're braking.
Yes, so the craziest thing is when I learned how to drive truck, I learned in the middle of winter. Hell,
Oh no,
you know what I mean?
no! You have to have chains on your tires, right?
Yes. So I learned how to drive in hell. I can sling steel and put them on, and I've been up every damn snowy mountain and down every snowy mountain and
Oof.
all of that craziness that you can think of wintertime driving in. I've been there, done that. But Colorado, I think it was 70. We're going through the mountains and I'm running at night. And I come around a turn and I hit a owl. An owl come out of the side of the road, you know what I mean, and thought
Yeah.
it could pass me, hit me right in the windshield.
Did it go
In
to
the
the windshield?
dead of night in the
Oh,
backwoods of Colorado.
Wow.
Yeah. But yes, been there many times.
Yeah, that's why I try to tell people when you drive to the mountains of Colorado, it's no joke. It's not a joke.
No. No, the other crazy thing is so like I said, I was blessed. I learned how to drive in the wintertime. The other people that when they learned how to drive, they learned in summer. So then come winter, they were usually at the bottom of the mountain.
Right. Yeah.
So yes, it's inevitable. There's always a truck at the bottom of the mountain.
Oh yeah. And going up the mountain though, you get such terrible gas mileage because you're constantly increasing the grade. I mean, what kind of mileage are you getting on a big truck like that? What are you pulling? 100,000 pounds? What's the biggest load you ever pulled?
80,000.
But that includes the whole truck.
No, that's in the box.
Oh my god! So that's a lot of weight.
Yeah, and I think a empty truck and trailer is something like 15,000.
Yes.
And but in the box you can carry 80.
So you're pulling around 100 G's, which is total with the truck. That's a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of weight.
Yes. I had to shut down in the middle of Wyoming. New Year's night. I'm in the middle of Wyoming nowhere, and I had to shut down because they shut the highway down
Uh huh.
because the winds were so bad, kind of like the snow and back there it's dry. It blows across the road and all that. You know what I mean?
It's blinding. You can't see.
Yeah. But either way, they shut the highway down because the winds were so even worse than they normally are.
They could blow your truck over.
Yes. So to keep going, I think you had to have 60,000 in the trailer to keep going. And
Yeah, that's
I think I only had 35,000 in my trailer, so I had to stop like in the middle of effing nowhere, get off the highway.
yeah.
It was in
Wyoming
a
is
new
no man's land.
Yeah, I mean, literally, you could tell it was like a mom and pop truck stop that was no longer.
Yeah.
So, no service, no nothing, and I had to spend the night there.
Well, because the only
But the
place
next,
Wyoming you got Cheyenne, and what else after Cheyenne? What do you got?
uh, I don't know, I always ended up in Cheyenne. A lot
Yeah.
of times, if I was running, whatever, always through Cheyenne. I was like,
So
God, I hate this place.
you've been through Commerce City in Colorado, Denver.
Yes.
That's
Uh,
a major hub, Commerce City.
Yeah, I picked up a load from Budweiser in Colorado Springs to bring to California.
Yeah, that's a long haul because yeah. So you're talking about I-25, right? Would you take I-25 to I-70?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it's a beautiful ride, but I guess trucking's dangerous anywhere. But you get to the Midwest, the wind, like you said, the wind. I drove to the storm when I moved here, and in Nebraska, we had to pull over because it was blinding. We couldn't see. I was glad. I think I spent like maybe 8 hours in Nebraska just waiting in North Platte, Nebraska, just sitting waiting. There's not. You couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't go. You couldn't go anywhere. They shut down. They shut down everything.
Yeah.
Shut down everything. It was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah, they had trucks that were flipped over. You couldn't. The wind was so strong, 80 miles an hour, and it's funny to say 80 mile an hour wind is terrible. Terrible.
No, so when I woke up the next morning there and got back on the highway, 4 or 5 trucks on their side, couple RVs on their side, like blew them over. Just bloop.
Yeah. And when you're in the Midwest, it's not like New York. They're not going to clean up that mess right away. I mean, it's going to be there for a while. You know, say I remember when I drove to Nebraska, there was trucks upside down, and there was so many trucks upside down, and Amazon trucks and stuff like that, and Swift trucks, and I'm like, they're not going to clean this up real quick. I mean, it's going to be there for a while. Like, I mean, because especially when an 18 wheeler goes upside down, oh my God, the cleanup. I mean, who pays for the cleanup? I mean, the company. How does that work?
The wreckers probably gotta pull them upright and probably tow them away, because I can't imagine it does anything good to the truck, even if it didn't crush up the whole side, that one side. But
Yeah.
even if it still ran, like all that oil, all that gas is on one side,
Oh yeah. But
can't be
all the
good for the engine.
no, but all the supplies, if they're damaged, what happens? It's just all covered by. See, Saco has the insurance. Saco insures 18 wheelers. So I guess what the insurance takes care of everything.
Yes. So there's what they call owner operators. You own the truck and trailer and you're just hauling loads for people. But yes, they're insured. Um, or there's company drivers. So you work for one of the trucking companies, the big boys, Snyder, Warner, Swift, whatever.
Because
And they
what
pay.
what's that?
What?
No, okay, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. And then they pay for everything, your fuel, your insurance, your everything. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Well, if you have a complete loss like that, what happens to the driver? Like, what do you do? They put you up at a motel, and then how do you get out of there? You don't even have a truck. If your truck gets wrecked while you're delivering, and it's not your fault, what happens?
Usually, yeah. You end up in a hotel, and then maybe ride with somebody to the hub, and then
You got to get another
hang
load.
out at the hub until you get a new rig, whatever.
Now, even if it's not your fault and it's proven that you're not negligent, how does that affect your license? Like, if you've had a lot of crashes, the company's not want to use you. How does that work?
Yes, I mean it's no joke. The problem with Class A is it's always your fault, even though it's not your fault. It's always your damn fault.
And now I'm sure all the trucks got cameras on it too, right? For liability. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I do weird things to keep myself awake, and they would not appreciate it.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's a different world. And now everything's tracked too with the speed and the braking. You know, they can track everything. So it's a different world, you know. You know.
But yes, I've been scared a few times per se.
Oh yeah.
But what I was gonna say about the blowing snow
Yeah.
or blinding snow is the trucker trick or whatever, the wake up strips on the side of the road. When you can't see the road, you just slide over a little bit and ride those, because that's how you know where the edge of the road is.
Right, because better off to go to the right most of the time than you don't want to go to oncoming traffic if you can't see. Because that's
Yeah,
what was it was I-80. The trucks were going over the grass in the median. There was no metal, and they were going over the grass, and they drive onto oncoming traffic. You know, it's terrible.
oh, that's scary shit.
Mhm. I remember before I left Nebraska, I was at a motel, and the guy goes, "You're gonna go out today?" I said, "Yeah, I gotta get to Colorado." And he goes, "I wouldn't drive, man. We're gonna have an 80-mile-an-hour winds." And I said, No big deal," because I never drove in that. I wish I would have listened. I wish I would have listened and just stayed, another night and just waited for the storm to pass. Because I'll tell you what, I couldn't see, and I tried to get off I-80, and I took like a farm road, like a road down like where the farms were, and I couldn't see at all, and my car was getting blown off the road, and they have deep embankments, so if you go really off the road, it's gravel, and then might drop 10 feet, and
Yeah.
yeah, I was actually happy with
That's
it.
that's scary.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it is what
Yes,
it is.
another. I think the craziest and scariest. The Siskiyou Mountains is what separates California to Oregon,
Mhm.
and I'm coming over that. And you know what a engine retarder is, or a Jake brake?
Yeah, I have heard of that. Yeah.
It wasn't kicking in, so I'm riding the brakes harder than I should be riding the brakes.
Oh shit. So then you can wear out your brakes and your bearings. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. So I'm, on off, but just riding them harder than I should be riding them, pulling 80,000 down the damn hill. Uh, and my Jake brake isn't kicking in.
Oh
So
shit.
by the time I get down to the bottom, my brakes are red hot.
Yeah.
You go through the agriculture center. Guy comes out and passes me through. I jumped out the truck with my dick in my hand and a fire extinguisher. I was sure as shit I was gonna catch that truck on fire.
But did the brakes melt or what happened? They burnt off?
They never combusted,
Oh, thank God.
but they were glowing. I thought for sure, like I said, I jumped out with my dick in my hand and a fire extinguisher. I thought for sure they were going.
Yeah, man, that's no joke. That's not.
No,
You
that was scary as shit. And you've seen it just driving around the runaway ramps
know.
wherever you are.
Dude, that's no joke, and that costs a lot of money to get towed out.
Oh yes. But the crazy thing, you'll see on Facebook, or it's going up a hill and just looks like a ramp or whatever, or downhill. They're deeper than shit, and it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. You don't go very far into it because it keeps getting deeper and deeper. It'll bury a truck,
Yeah.
but it'll fuck that truck up and rip everything off and everything else, but it'll bury a truck like not too many feet into that. It gets deeper and deeper and deeper.
So all your suspension could be ripped out from that.
Oh yeah, the truck is ruined, but your life is saved.
Well, not just your life, everyone else. Because if you have a eighty
Mm-hmm.
thousand pound truck running through, that happened in Colorado a few years ago, and they killed 5 people. The guy didn't take the runaway ramp, and he said he didn't know because he didn't speak English, and the company should have known that, and
Mm-hmm.
he didn't take the runaway ramp, and he at full speed, maybe 80 miles an hour. There was traffic at the bottom of the mountain, and when he got to the bottom, he just plowed through like 10 cars, full speed, full
Yeah,
speed.
it's no joke. I mean, you coming down there, like I said, trying to stop that runaway train.
Yeah, did you ever go to
It's
Glenwood Springs, like further in Colorado, like that area, like Glenwood Springs? It's about 3 hours from Denver west.
mm, no. What's the famous ski resort?
Vale, yeah, Vale over there.
Vale. Yeah, I've been by Vale a couple times.
I think Glenwood maybe an hour west, and when you get closer there, because you're going west. So on the right side, they had a runaway, but the runaway was short, but it went vertical. Like it literally went like up. Can you imagine you dug in and your truck? Oh my god! Imagine because they didn't have much space, so they built one that was a grade. Can you imagine ended up like this, like at 70 degrees, like fucking with the? Oh my god! You'd be shit.
oh
You shit.
yeah, like I said, it'll guaranteed to ruin your truck. Like there ain't no fixing it, but it'll stop that shit and you'll be alive.
Right now, normally, how long would your brakes last on your truck? How often would you have to swap them out? Like, what are we talking? Is it every month, every 2 months?
Mm, no, it's probably once a year.
Oh, they
Uh,
they last that long.
so there's hubs all over the United States. The major one is in New Hampshire. That's where the company is. Whatever I-80. Uh, but they have them all over. So every once in a while, when you're running through, they'll pull you in for whatever. Obviously, it gets mechanically checked, changing your oil, all that good stuff,
Right.
whatever.
Wow. And I'm sure those brakes and rotors are not cheap.
Oh, no. But that's the only plus of being company because you don't have to pay that. But if
Right.
you're an owner operator, you got to pay all that. The only blessing of being an owner operator is every so many years you can sell your truck for 60, 80,000 or whatever and get into another one.
Right.
So
Now,
then that helps. But you're paying for all that maintenance, all that fuel, all that
well,
everything.
and the insurance, you're paying it yourself. Yep, the insurance. Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as what's in your box,
Yeah.
whoever the shipper is insuring it,
Gotcha.
or
Gotcha.
half the time, yeah, you have the paperwork that will tell you. Like I said, I had Budweiser from Colorado Springs, and it was Bud Light with lime.
It
So
must have been summertime. Um,
yeah,
interesting.
but
Yeah, people.
sometimes you don't know. It's just you got so many part number, blah 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 blah. You don't know half time what's in there.
Yeah. Now, when you have people that do local deliveries, right? Is that a different kind of 18 wheeler, or is that smaller? Let's just say once the Budweiser gets to a distributor, and then the distributor has local delivery, they're using smaller trucks, right? They're using, you know,
Yeah, they're using what do they call them? Day cabs.
yeah,
Yeah, there's no sleeper. It's
yeah,
just
because they go home every day. They're doing 8-hour, 12-hour shifts, and they go home.
yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Versus you have the so it all depends. We did a lot of drop and hook, so drop it at wherever and pick up another trailer to take it somewhere else.
So when you are delivering something or load, it's locked, and you don't have the key. Who has the key, right? Because they don't. How's that work for security?
The receiver. So there's a lock on it
And only the receiver
that
will have the key, because that way you.
yeah, if it's been cut, it's tampered with whatever. They're the only ones that can remove it because they're accountable for it.
Right, right. So whenever you stop at a truck stop to rest or whatever, refuel, are you always checking to make sure no one stole it or opened it up while you're resting, or how does that work? Because does anybody ever try to break into your trailer and steal, or no?
No, you're pretty safe if you're in a truck stop per se.
From that, but you're not safe from lot lizards. The lot lizards are real, right?
No, no. So the craziest shit about them
Yeah,
is you can't be mean to them
right. It,
because you'll wake up with like glass between your dual tires. They'll fuck with your truck.
really?
So you just no, thank you. Uh, Try not to get too super pissed. I had to crawl out of the sleeper because she jumped up on my truck.
Oh shit!
So now I'm pissed because I had to get out of bed.
Yeah, yeah,
No, can't help you.
yeah. Yeah,
Get off
that's
my
it.
truck.
Yeah, I remember me and my father were taking a drive down to I think it was North Carolina or Georgia, and we stopped in Jersey to get breakfast because everyone from Long Island, the first truck stops are open 24 hours is in Jersey. So we stopped at Jersey to get gas and get some breakfast. But when we were in the car, came up, banged the window. I remember my dad opened the window and he's like, "Yeah, can I help you?" And she's like, "Oh, you guys looking for company?" And my dad's like, "No, I'm with my son." And she's like, "Oh, he's like, yeah, that's okay." You know, I mean, these people have no rules. It's like, Yeah, lot lizards are a real thing.
No, they really are, and it's super funny. So usually before you climb into bed, you're unwinding
Mhm.
whatever, so paperwork or whatever the hell you're doing before you crawl back into bed or whatever for your sleep time.
Yeah.
So I would have the CB on
Mhm.
because there's always chatter on there.
Don't the girls call each other from one truck to the next like that? Is that how they work?
Yeah, so you have the DVD guy, some
I
guy selling DVDs,
didn't
and
know
then you have
we're doing
some,
the
so,
in the
what?
truck.
Yeah, and then you have the guys, maybe they're selling laundry detergent or whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever.
And then you have the lot lizards, and they'll be talking to somebody, and what color is your house?
Yeah.
Which, which means whatever color your truck is, or so you'll hear that. Uh, but then you're looking out the window and watching people park and shit. It
Yeah.
was like watching TV, and then the chatter of just all this crap.
Oh yeah.
It was literally like watching TV, just staring out the window at the truck stop.
Oh, that's gotta be trouble. Yeah, I couldn't do that because those girls are not fresh. That's just nasty. What I'm saying?
Mm-mm.
That's a no go.
No,
Oh,
no, no.
no. Now, if some guy was in the lot and playing like music, like a violin, I'd give him a tip. Yeah, play me a song. you know. But if there was a lot violinist, I would hire someone to play guitar for me or something, like that.
Yeah, right. That'd be nice. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, just play me a song.
The best is running through Nevada and whatever that county that prostitution is legal in Nevada.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah,
Yeah. So you'll be running through there, and there's all sorts of brothels besides the big ones. There's little ones, whatever. There's lots of brothels. Well, they're on the CB promoting whatever brothel, and it's chilly night, and it's this night, and
I wouldn't want.
whatever.
If I was about that, I don't want to hang out with girls eating chili. That's dangerous.
Yeah, yeah. So that was always fun to hear the commercials and whatever from the brothels. Those cracked me up.
Was that back like in the '90s? What year were you driving the truck? The '80s or '90s?
No, I came home 2001, almost 2002. That's when the market crashed.
Okay, yeah,
So I was losing money, right? It cost me so much a week to survive, right? 3 meals, stuff,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
That I was barely making that.
yeah. So
And
yeah,
I was like, fuck this. I'm missing my life in a sense because I'm living on the road.
yeah.
Like, I'm out.
Yeah, once it's not profitable, it's not fun. But there's fluctuations in
No.
trade. I'm sure things. I
Hmm.
don't know if things are better now. I don't know. I don't know. How it works now. I think brother Ben here. He's a current driver, so he might have more. But I'm sure in 20 years things have changed. I think things change. A lot.
Yes. I think when I came off the road, the only automatic truck was Volvo.
Those are
Now I think all the big boys make a automatic truck,
interesting. Now
which
those.
is which is fucking shit because I will tell you when you have gears and all that going up a mountain or down a mountain, you need to grab a gear or whatever. You need a damn stick.
How many
You
gears
can
did you? How many gears did you have?
uh did I have 21? So right there's a Yeah. So 8 and 8. Maybe it was 16. I don't remember. But
I
yeah.
couldn't. I couldn't do that jump. I mean, I could drive regular 5 speed, but that's you got to know what the fuck you're doing. And how much
Oh,
trouble?
especially going up a hill, you miss a gear, you're fucked. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If you
No, so it's just crazy, and it's another animal, and they're working machines, and they will pull 80,000 pounds up a damn mountain.
Mhm.
They're not a toy.
Now, how much trouble if a driver gets pulled over and he didn't get into an accident, but if he was drinking, how fucked are you?
Oh, you're super fucked. Super fucked.
That's a new phrase. Super fucked. You're super fucked
Yeah, yeah, no, no bueno.
because then who gets
Like,
the company's got to send the driver to get the truck now, right? You're not. You don't just get a ticket and you're done,
oh
right?
yeah, and you probably won't get hired anywhere else.
For what 7 years or something or a long time?
Oh yeah, or more. Uh, Especially when you're pulling high value hazardous material or whatever it may be. They
Uh,
don't fuck around.
uh,
Like, ain't nobody gonna, you have that on your record, period.
right.
They'll
Now, what
probably go back 10 years.
what about when it comes to government stuff? Let's just say when the government moves dangerous stuff. I'll leave it at that. Let's say they're transporting stuff for the military industrial complex, explosives or whatever. How does that work? Do they? Because my cousin works for the NNSA, so when they transport nukes, they have people following them. You know what I'm saying? No.
Yeah, I would guess the military definitely has their own trucks and trailers and whatever, and there's probably 4 or 5 Humvees around it and everything else. Not to mention, if it's a nuke, they've shut the whole highway down and they're the only ones on the highway.
Yeah. Yeah. They travel with everything. He said,
Hmm.
they had they were allowed to. They had everything. Like you don't want to. No one's fucking with that truck. You be dead on sight. Like you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but that's the military. But other crazy shit, ammunition or anything else, uh, you're probably having 2 cars.
Yeah.
So a car in front that it's coming through and a car behind, kind of thing. You're being, it's being transported per se because it's an explosive.
Yeah. No, they take security for that stuff very seriously. You know.
Hmm.
But I'm
Yep.
sure drivers doing that, like I said, it's a different field. You know what I'm saying? Though it's probably different. What do they call that? Endorsements? Like so, when you're a driver, you can get endorsed for what? Flammable, for liquids, for let's say you transport. You have different licenses for for nitrogen, whatever you're transporting. You got to have different.
Hmm.
What do they call that? Endorsements? What do they call that?
Yeah, yeah, endorsements. So you just get your class A, but you want to pull a tank, whether that's milk or gas or
Yeah.
whatever, a tank period. Uh, you have to have your tanker certificate that you have that. Uh, Same with hazardous material. You have a hazmat. Um, and then you have your background, which everybody has a background that you're not a terrorist, you're not going to use your truck as a bomb
Right.
kind
Right.
of background.
Yeah.
So
You
you
got
can
to
get
clear.
into rail yards and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all different kinds of dangerous stuff. Yeah. And then what about for like
Uh,
animals? Is that a different endorsement if you're transporting hogs or chickens or whatever? Or I don't know. Because I think about it, when they transport stuff for like zoos, somebody's got to transport a shark. Somebody, you have special trucks and they transport like an orca whale or something crazy, right? Because how do they get a fucking whale to a zoo? Somebody had to drive it there, right? How the fuck did they do that?
I have no clue. But I don't know about livestock. I don't think there's an endorsement for that. Uh, but if it was something sea, it's obviously sitting in water or whatever, so it'd probably fall under tanks.
Right.
And the crazy thing about tanks is they slosh, right?
Yeah. That
So
weight,
it'll push you forward or pull you back when
yeah,
you're driving a tank.
or tip inside if you're turning, right? The weight you could, yeah, liquids can be really dangerous. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I heard with the government truckers, if it's like they're transporting something for the military, they don't have to abide by like the rules as far as like you can only drive so much and stuff. Like they have two drivers and they could, what I'm talking about, where you have certain like how many hours can you drive? 8 hours or 12 hours? I don't know what the rules are,
Oh,
but
so it's 11. Well, I don't know. It may have changed, but it was 11 hours of driving or 14 hours of work. So you had two different clocks. If you were per se someplace and they're just unloading you, it'd go against your 14-hour clock.
right,
But if you were just driving for distance 11 hours, you're shutting down.
right.
But the military, as far as I know, uh,
Is
pretty much everybody in the military has a class A. Like they give everybody a class A.
they're doing their own thing.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like because you could imagine some big old war machines and whatever. Like they're trained to. I think they all have those licenses. Like it's
Mm,
part of the training.
interesting. Yeah, I mean the liquid thing is interesting because I can see that just you holding like a big bowl of water. You see if you're walking with it, the water's moving. If you have how many gallons of water or any kind of liquid, that's got to be interesting driving because it's going to affect your braking.
Oh yeah, braking, pulling, all of that.
I've seen a lot of accidents on Facebook on this trucking website. Like a big wheel, like let's say a big wheel of copper or steel, and if it's not
Mhm.
strapped down tight enough, it can roll forward and kill the driver. So what happens with that? It's just too much weight or the momentum.
That is, if you ever look behind, you'll see it on people with flatbeds, like flatbed drivers. You'll see them on the back of all sorts of trucks. They have a headache rack, a rack behind the sleeper
Yeah, yeah,
that whatever doesn't come into the damn sleeper that may be on the trailer.
yeah. Hopefully it stops it, but I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
let's say like aluminum or something like that, or any kind of or even like when people are transporting steel, that's dangerous shit. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh my god. There was
Yes.
here in one day when I was coming to work. I was going east, coming west. There was a steel truck that the steel, whatever it was, it hit the guardrail and the steel came off the truck. It was I couldn't believe, dude, you're fucked. Imagine if you were driving next to that. That steel beam would crush your car like you know what I'm saying. That there's no one surviving. Uh, I don't care if you're in a pickup truck. Those you don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. You know.
No. No. Uh,
Yeah.
they're built like tanks, even though most modern trucks or whatever they call them, plastic pigs.
Yeah.
It's just fiberglass,
Yeah.
whatever.
And then on the way
Got a
home, the same day, a truck going the other way, luckily, was transporting lumber. And let me tell you, those lumber trucks, the flatbed, they had a lot. I mean, out here, they stack that lumber hot. In New York has different rules. They stack it above the fucking. They stack it so high, and this guy he crashed in the tunnel, and he fucking the wood lumber was everywhere. And I couldn't. But
Oh
like in
no.
one day, it was steel and wood. And luckily for me, going that has to be a nightmare. Because you're talking about what, probably 20-foot planks. Who knows how big they are. But that's some dangerous shit, man. That's a big cleanup.
Yeah. That's the other crazy shit. And so a lot of these you're talking about, you're on camera in the truck.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
You
man.
also you also can't use your CB because it's a distraction, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
But I will tell you, there's a road channel, and then there's the channel that everybody talks on.
Hmm.
Um, right, and it'll tell you the road conditions and that kind of shit. But the other guys, because you can talk to everybody that within 15, 20 miles of you. And
Interesting.
that's on a stock CB. Most people
Yeah.
have them juiced up and bigger antennas, whatever. But they'll tell you where the cops are. They'll tell you the road conditions or whatever, and you can change freeways because there's been a bad accident or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, real time useful information about running. Not to mention, not everybody's paying attention. Sometimes maybe you blew one of the tires on your trailer, but it's
Yeah.
not making any noise and it's an inner one of the duals or something.
Yeah.
That maybe it didn't grab your attention. Some guy might holler at you that you got a fucking flat tire or whatever to get your damn attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a safety device. I've seen it all.
Yeah. So if you get pulled over by not just by the cops, but or the DOT, so you have to pull over. If they say you have to get off the road, and what do they do? They do inspections. What are they looking for?
Yeah. So if you ever go by the truck stops, you'll see before those things that go across the road, whatever. It's reading a bypass
Right.
signal to them,
Yeah.
and they'll either give you a green light or a red light, and you can either blow by or you have to pull in.
Right.
But sometimes you always have to pull in.
Right.
But either way, they can give you a red light, and then you pull into one of the bays, and they go through your truck and make sure everything's the way it's supposed to be.
Right. They can check your matter. Now, when you pull over for them, does the clock stop? How does that work? What if you're there for 2 hours? Time.
I think that would definitely go against your 14-hour because you're not driving. Now you're stopped in a bay while they're taking an hour to go through your truck and look at everything and that everything fucking works, kind of like DMV.
Right. Right. Now, I've heard of
But
stories.
yes, you'll
Let's say.
get a ticket. You'll get a ticket, but the company should pay that ticket
Mm,
because your truck was fucked up and it's their truck.
right. Now, what happens if you pick up a load and you're on a obviously when you pick up a load, you're not liable for what's in it. So what if that? Let's say you're transporting fruit, but that company, somebody who was let's just say smuggling something, and then let's say the cops pull you over, the feds pull you over. You're not going to get in trouble for what's in the load, right? As long as you're not part of it, right?
No, because like I said, it's locked and oh, only sometimes it'll tell you what you're hauling. Sometimes it just literally is you have whatever part number 10,000 bazillion times.
Right, right. Yeah, I
And
saw
then
one.
you usually don't know until you deliver, like, oh, I literally had a truck full of GPSs.
You didn't know. Well, this truck driver was transporting tequila, so he didn't know. But it turns out the tequila was all liquid fentanyl. Now, obviously,
Mm.
that's not the driver's fault. Obviously, they were watching, and they pulled him over. And at that point, you're just a driver, right? I mean, you didn't know. I mean,
No, because unless you totally knew because that's what your paperwork told you it was, and you knew you were riding dirty.
Mm,
But you'll get a ticket, and it's companies don't like it, but they'll usually pay the ticket
right.
unless it was because of your neglect or
Right.
whatever.
But if
Then you're
they
stuck paying it.
if they seize your load, it becomes police property. That's out of your hands. That's not your fault. You know, it's not. Yeah.
No, no. So same with your truck isn't safe. They determine it's not safe.
Mm,
Somebody will come pick you up at the truck stop and whatever, and somebody else will wait
interesting. Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
can't drive it away.
It's a complicated thing, trucking. You know, it's and you think about the logistics. I used to know a guy that all his company did was truck logistics. And you talk about from stuff from like, let's say coast to coast or north to south. He was in New York, but I mean, his company made a lot of money, but it was a lot of planning. Like, so how far advanced? How when they let's say forget about the driver. Let's say the planning. How far advance are they planning these loads? Like, you know what I'm saying? Though, like, is it weeks? Is it months? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when they plan when they plan.
That I honestly don't know, but as the driver, right? It you've told them that you've delivered the shit, and sometimes instantly it'll tell you to drive just the truck, leave the trailer there, drive the truck 30 miles to pick up a trailer at whatever point and
Right.
take it to wherever. You don't know what the next load is until you finish whatever load you had.
Okay, so that's the way it was
And
when you, and maybe it's the same now. Who knows? But you're saying for the driver's
yeah,
part, he's on the end side, with the logistics side, because you know, let's say trailers coming off of, like when Notorious, he works in the dock. So if you have stuff coming in, because don't they have stuff that go right onto a flatbed truck? You know, do they have trailers that
oh
go right?
yeah, they go on the train or whatever. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. So the day drivers, like we're talking about,
right.
sometimes you're just literally dropping a trailer in some yard and picking up another trailer.
Interesting.
And at some other point, somebody's going to pick up that trailer because now they've unloaded it and reloaded it and whatever, and somebody else will pick it up. You
What
know what I
about
mean?
going to Canada or Mexico? Is that different licenses?
Yeah, so that's interesting that I ran from Laredo, Texas, which is the Mexican border, to Calexico, California, which is the Mexican border, and dropped it in a yard.
Mhm.
And the Mexican drivers can come in to the U.S. like 3 miles or something, and they'll pick up that trailer and take it to Mexico.
Interesting.
As the company, we could drive to Canada, but Mexico we dropped at the border, and they'd come over and pick it up and take
It's
it.
probably better that way because Mexico is very dangerous. You wouldn't want to be driving, 8 hours deep into Mexico and you don't know where the fuck you're at. And
Yeah. Yeah, but that's how Mexico works. They're allowed to come in X amount of miles to a drop yard and pick up the trailers. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Take it the whatever.
I'm sure they have lot listings too over in Tijuana.
Oh yeah, and the donkey show.
I'm sure they got everything. I would avoid all that. Now,
Yes.
what about this? What about like seafood, like refrigeration? So, do you ever have a truck with refrigeration? How does that work? I- that was for the
Uh,
different endorsement, like for to have a 18 wheeler that's refrigerated. Like, let's say you're transporting fucking ice cream. It's got to be cold, right? So, how does that work?
yeah. Yeah. So if when you're driving down the highway, if you ever look when you're passing the trucks, the front of the trailer has a thing in like a bubble or
It,
whatever
that's the
on it.
refrigeration unit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a reefer.
Yeah.
So literally, yeah, it could go from freezing to just refrigerated for produce, or you could freeze that trailer for ice cream or whatever, you crank it up. But when you're fueling up, you also fuel up the trailer, but that's keeping it
Oh, I didn't know that.
refrigerated.
Oh, so that
Yeah,
has its,
it's its own animal.
so it has its own. So that has it's running off diesel.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
got like a diesel motor on it,
Interesting.
refrigerator. Yeah, yeah.
Right. That's a whole nother thing you have to worry about being serviced because if that refrigerator goes crap and you're driving ice cream to California, that shit melts. That's you got a problem.
Yeah, I'm guessing there's some way you can tell the temperature too. I never ran a reefer, but I would imagine it would alarm you if it failed
Yeah.
somehow.
Well, yeah, that would be the company you work for, making sure they have trucks that are working correctly.
Well, that too, but accidents do happen. But I would think there's some sort of warning that something ain't right.
Yeah, there's a lot, a lot. See, people see truckers and they take it for granted. There's so much pressure on a trucker. So many things could go wrong. So many things could go wrong.
No, the craziest thing is I've driven 11 hours multiple times in a row because I'm going for distance.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so all I've done is literally drive for 11 hours. But
Yeah.
how exhausting you are. It is so mentally exhausting because you're forever scanning the road, not to mention everything around you. 24/7. Like you are mentally exhausted.
And you get the people that cut off truckers. They try to get in. Well, it's got to be bad in traffic too, right? When you're in traffic, did you
Oh,
drive to New York
fuck
City or
that.
New Jersey? The traffic is fucking horrendous.
I never did New York. I've done LA, and yes, traffic sucks because you're getting paid by the mile and you're not going miles, so you're not making money. But the lots in the city are a lot smaller than anywhere else.
Uh,
So you're trying to get a big rig in a small ass parking lot. Like
well, that's
you better
another.
know how to you better know how to drive because I don't even know how the hell you get there.
Right. Have you ever driven through Vermont? I think that's the most beautiful state.
Hmm. Yes,
I love
it
Vermont.
is. Yes, I have a cousin that lives in Vermont that we go back to Vermont a couple times a year.
Oh,
And then the four of us, so from Vermont, my two cousins, me and the wife, four of us went to Maine. That was beautiful.
yeah, it's a beautiful area. What do you take? Would you take Highway 8 all the way up? Would
Mm,
you drive out to Vermont, or you fly out, or what do you do?
oh, we fly into Connecticut because they live on like the border in
Yeah,
Vermont,
yeah. Oh
and
shit,
then drive. Sorry, it's one of those security lights.
that's a
There we
shit.
go.
Yeah, Vermont. Yeah, because Connecticut, you could take Highway 8 straight up, and you go through Massachusetts, and then you're right there. In It's only 1 hour through Massachusetts, and you're right there in Vermont. It's beautiful.
Oh yes, yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love Vermont. Even the when I drove to Vermont, the rest stops were nice. Everything was pretty in Vermont. Even like, and they only had at a rest stop. They only had porta johns, and they were the cleanest porta johns I've ever seen in my life. Vermont is a clean state. Don't All I can say is don't litter in Vermont. You can't even idle in Vermont. You can't idle. There's no idling. It
Yeah.
is yeah.
Yeah, it is absolutely stunning and beautiful, especially in the fall when all the trees are different colors.
When I go,
Amazing.
that's when I go, and It is so quiet in Vermont. It's such a peaceful, like it's deafening quiet. I was up there by the New York border, in Vermont, and more up north, like closer to Canada, and it was so beautiful. It just, I loved it. I look forward to going back there again in the fall.
Yeah. So they live in Vermont now, but they moved. So my uncle worked for Tandem Computers in Silicon Valley, California, whatever, when they were young.
Yeah.
And then he transferred to Sterling, Virginia. So
Uh,
I would spend the summers in Virginia watching my cousins that now they live in Vermont and they're grown and whatnot.
yeah, interesting. Yeah,
But
I love Vermont.
yes, that whole area is beautiful. You can go to Arlington, you can go to Gettysburg,
Yeah.
it's just over there. You can go through like 5 states in an hour.
Oh yeah. Oh, you got Vermont, Maryland, all those states are right. The so-called Jersey, South Jersey. It's all like a hop, skip, and away. It's a nice ride.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes no sense to
I like
drive out there.
Pennsylvania. Philly's rough, but outside of Philly, Pennsylvania is a really nice state. And if you've been to like Lancaster and Bethlehem, it's a pleasant state. It's very peaceful. Pennsylvania, the country of Pennsylvania is very polite, very nice. Um, but Philadelphia is one of the roughest cities I've ever been to. And that saying comes from the Bronx. Like in New York, Philadelphia feels like the Bronx, but Philadelphia feels like the Bronx, if that makes any sense. Philadelphia is no joke. That's a dangerous city.
I think every city is dangerous.
Oh,
And I don't know if it's the police just threw their hands up or what besides the Democrats. I don't know. They're all garbage.
yeah.
When we were ta-
It's got
we were talking about steel earlier.
yeah.
When you're talking about industry leaving, I mean, look what it did to Pittsburgh.
It's sad. It's sad.
You know what I mean? Crippled that city, and now it's a third world country.
Well, same thing because you get to eastern Pennsylvania, you got Ohio and then Indiana. Those places made a lot. Indiana made a lot of steel. Gary, Indiana. I mean, that city's ruined. I driven through
Yeah.
Indiana. Like, there's some really bad parts of Indiana. And like because the industry just left. There's nothing left but poverty. It's sad.
It is sad, right? I mean, those industries built these cities in the Midwest and other parts of the country. I mean, literally, yeah, employed. I mean, built the city.
Yeah.
Everybody that lived there worked for that company.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's sad. You know.
It is sad.
Well,
But
hopefully,
I don't know when is enough enough. I don't know.
all these corporations went global, and they're just and that's they paid off the politicians, and they got it's cheaper to get stuff from other countries. Even let's say something as basic as Oreos. Oreos? They left Chicago. The Oreos are being made now in Mexico.
Yeah, same with Hershey
Yeah.
and Levi.
Oh
Yeah,
wow! He said,
big names.
Uncle Larry says he lives in Pittsburgh. He says it has rebounded, and they have new industries. Well, that's good. I'm glad. Pittsburgh came back. He's saying that
Yeah.
they new stuff coming. That's good. Um, because back in the day, Pittsburgh was known for its steel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Well, we'll see. As things change. I know Florida is doing very well with everything. Florida is booming.
Well, I think also in the industry per se, we've become as a society throwaway culture.
Yeah.
So we want the cheap Chinese, whatever, things only last a few years, whatever, you buy a new one, whatever.
Well, it's the same thing.
Versus versus we were a country that made everything we needed, and we were an export country. Our lumber, we made our own nails, our own forest, everything. We were self-sufficient.
We used to fix our own stuff. Um, Even look at the clothes, like Carhartt. Most of the Carhartt stuff's not made in America anymore. It's all China, Indonesia. It's all cheap stuff. You know, it used to be all American. Even the tools. I mean, most of the tools used to be American-made tools. Not really anymore. You know.
No. My favorite Carhartts are like original, like, and they're still ticking, and I love the hell
Yeah.
out of them. But they don't make Carhartt like they used to make
No.
Carhartt.
No. No. I mean, when I was an electrician, the old timers they'd have the old overalls. You know, the jumpsuits. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and the old ones would take so long to break in. They were so sturdy. They were built so tough. You know. You know. I mean. Yeah, they don't make them like that no more. It is what it is. It is what it is.
No, so well, that's the problem. You know what I mean with our cast iron or that part, whatever. You get an old cast iron pan, it'll outlive you, outlive the person before you, and outlive the person after you. Like they built shit to last.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, times.
Quality.
I go down. I call it the fast food. It's fast food generation. Everything is quick and easy. You know, and low quality. You know, is what it is with that. But
Yeah, it
yeah. But we'll see if
makes
industry comes
sense
back.
that
I mean,
they don't.
hopefully.
I don't know. The only refrigerators that work are like those old ones our parents used to have are still kicking in somebody's
When I
garage.
was growing up, my grandmother had the same refrigerator from the '70s. You know, up until like recently.
Oh yeah, like I
Yeah,
said, they were ugly, but they're probably still working.
yeah, they still worked. They still worked. Well, on that note, my friend, I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna go to sleep. And I want to say, I'm very grateful to have you on the channel, man. It was nice, man. We had you on for almost 2 hours. It felt like two. I like picking your brain. I like to always learn from someone, from their life or just their job experience, and it's always interesting, especially hearing stuff from the past. And it's just interesting hearing about all that stuff, man. So hopefully we have you back on, and really grateful
Yeah,
to finally meet you. You know.
yeah. Thanks for inviting me.
Anytime, man. You know, pleasure. You're a gentleman. Nice talking to you. And
All
you have a
right,
beautiful, beautiful home. And that's a nice. I'm glad your neighbor finally stopped chopping wood, whatever the fuck he was doing.
you and me both.
That's it. Well, I hope you rest easy, man. And I'll see you around the lounge. All right.
All right, bye.
All right, take care, brother. Everyone, take it easy.
Bye.
Have a good night. Take it easy. Everyone, stay fresh. And I'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good night, guys.